These are the best gaming PC builds of the month for September 2023 for $1,500, $1,000, $800, and $500. So those are the gaming PC builds of the month that we do every single month. And here is the most recent update for the fall of 2023. Maybe you're building a back-to-school PC or pretending you're building a PC to do your homework or whatever it might be, but it's really for gaming. Well, these are for you. And it might depend on your budget, depending on what to kind of dictate what performance you might get. So let's go through that really quick. So if you're in kind of the $1,500 budget range, you can expect to get performance that's kind of at the higher range here. So here's the performance expectations to game at extreme settings and high FPS at resolutions of 1080p, 2K resolutions, and really good gameplay into 4K. If you're looking to spend $1,000, you can probably expect somewhere around playing games at extreme settings at 1080p resolutions or higher settings in 2K resolutions or 1440p. If you're spending $800, you might be looking at gaming performance settings, gaming smoothly at high settings at 1080p resolutions in most games. And then if you're going to hit in the $500 range, well, this is really an entry-level gaming PC build budget, but you can get away with, as it does have expandability for the future. And this one doesn't include a graphics card; it includes integrated graphics on the CPU. So definitely room for improvement later. Or if you have a little bit more to spend, there are alternatives for that too, which we'll go through. If you can easily get a gaming PC that will game smoothly at anywhere from 720p into 1080p resolutions, depending on the path that you take. Let's get started. Let's start with the $1,500 gaming PC build of the month for September 2023. Let's kick it off with the CPU. So the CPU here we have this month is the AMD Ryzen 5 7600X, coming in at $219.99. This was on sale last month. It's not on sale this month, so it was a little cheaper last month at about $200 or $199, so it just went up a little bit. Paired with that for the coolers, the Noctua NH-U12S Redux air cooler here for $54.95. You can go with a different there's a bunch of different air coolers out there, or get an AIO all-in-one cooler if you want. Up to you. We do have upgrade suggestions here at the site at newbcomputerbuild.com if you're interested. A motherboard here is the MSI Pro B650p Wi-Fi Pro Series motherboard, coming in at $184 at the moment. Graphics card that really powers this build is the Zotac Gaming Force GeForce RTX 4070. Graphics card for $599.99, the same price as last month, and a great card. If you want to bump up your speed a little bit, we do have alternatives here on the site as well. So you can get a 4070 Ti, for example. Memory we have is a Crucial RAM 32GB kit of 4800 mega transfers per second, DDR5 memory at 7851 at the beginning of the month here in September. For storage, we have a Crucial P3 Plus 1TB NVMe SSD for $39.99. This has gone down this month. Power supply for this one is the Corsair RM series RM 850 watt power supply for $124.99. And then this case has been holding strong in this build for quite a while. The Corsair 4000D for $89.99. I always say the case is to the beholder, the gaming beholder. So there's a lot of flexibilities around cases depending on your style and preference and budget overall, but this is definitely a case I recommend quite often. So this build comes into well under $1,500 this month at $1,417. So more closer to a $1,400 build. So score if your budget was $1,500, but historically this has been closer to $1,500 for this exact same performance. So might switch it up in the next month if prices hold strong. Moving on, let's go. The $1,000 gaming PC build of the month for September 2023. This is the best you can get performance-wise. Dollar per performance sort of perspective. So again, the $1,000 build is for those that really want to game at extreme settings at 1080p resolutions into higher settings at 2K resolutions. If that sounds like you, this build's for you. CPU in this one is the AMD Ryzen 5 7600 for $219.99. This one comes with a cooler, the AMD Wraith Stealth cooler that's included there. You can always have the option to upgrade to a different or a better cooler should you need to in the future, or right away if you had a little extra to spend on this build. Lots of options there. Motherboard we have is the Gigabyte B650 MDS3H Micro ATX motherboard for $144.50. Graphics card is the Asus Dual GeForce RTX 4060 Ti. Graphics card this month for $399.99. A great efficient card, if you ask my opinion. I love this card. Memory we have is the Crucial RAM 16GB kit of DDR5 4800 MHz memory, coming in at $39.99. Storage we have is Crucial P3 1TB NVMe SSD for $39.99. The power supply that powers this beast is the EVGA Supernova G5 650 watt power supply at $109.99. And the case is the Zalman S2 for $59.99. Again, cases are flexible in terms of what your choice and style preference are. I always like this one. It's a very good budget-oriented case that gives you everything you need. decent cooling, comes with some fans, looks pretty minimalistic, and has decent airflow. So if you want to spend more, get a different case or change the style up, completely up to you. So this build comes into $1,014 at the moment, just slightly over budget by a slim margin, but it was a little bit more last month, so it has gone down for September 2023. So the second last build we have for the month is the $800 gaming PC build of the month. This one's oriented for those who want to game at high settings or FPS at 1080p resolutions in most games, so kind of playing at 1080p quite well. So let's get into it. CPU we have for this one, we're using Intel for the $800 build with the Intel Core i3 13100F CPU at $111.99, using the stock cooler, the Intel laminar cooler, which is included, so no cost associated with that. Motherboard we have is a Gigabyte B760 MDS3 HD motherboard, coming in at $119.99. Graphics card is the Power Color Fighter AMD Radeon RX 6700 XT. 6700 XT is a great card, and it will get you the performance expected out of this build without an issue. This one comes in at $349.99. Memory we have is the Corsair Vengeance LPX 16GB DDR4 kit of 3600 MHz kit of memory, for $39.99. SSD is the Crucial P3 1TB NVMe SSD, $39.99. The power supply is the PVA 600 watt Prestige power supply for $51.99. And then the case is the Zalman S2. Zalman mid tower. I was going to say micro ATX. It's not a micro ATX case. It's a regular ATX sized case for $59.99 to house all of this hardware. And we're coming in under budget at $774 at the beginning of September 2023, which is phenomenal. So under that $800 budget. And I'd like to mention, if you do want upgrade alternatives for these builds, visit the site newbcomputerbuild.com. But let's move on to the final build of the month. This is the budget build, the $500 gaming PC build of the month for September 2023. Again, I want to preface this build is, you can game no problem. You can play games, get up and running at 720p to 1080p resolutions in most games. The build, the way it's laid out, the build, the way it's laid out, wow. I did not link the right one here. Well, I will have to fix that. The CPU for this one, the $500 gaming PC build of the month, is the Ryzen 5 5600G. I didn't link, I've linked the regular 5600, which isn't right, but the price is right. I just didn't label it properly, but the CPU for this one is the AMD Ryzen 5 5600G, which uses integrated graphics. If you want a bit more performance for spending a bit more at, let's say, $177, you can go with a AMD Ryzen 7 5700G, a better CPU. However, not really worth the bang for your buck. You might as well get a better CPU and a graphics card if you want to spend a little more. That would be my opinion, but that option is always there. So this CPU comes in at $145.14 at the moment. Cooler we have is the AMD Wraith Stealth Cooler, stock air cooler here. Comes with the CPU. Motherboard we have is the Asus TUF Gaming A520M Plus Wi-Fi enabled motherboard of $99.99. Again, we're using integrated graphics for this one. Memory we have is the Corsair Vengeance LPX 16GB kit of DDR4 memory, $39.99. Storage we have is a Crucial P3 1TB NVMe SSD. Power supply is the Thermaltake Smart 500 watt, coming at $39.99. And the case again is the Zalman S2 mid-tower gaming PC case for $59.99. I don't know why I said gaming PC case. It's just a PC case. It could be used for any PC. But anyways, this build comes in well under $500 at $407. So a lot of flexibility with this one. This one's very, very budget oriented at the moment. Not too long ago, this one was over $500 for the same hardware. So that leaves some flexibility here, and I'm going to jump over here to some upgrade ideas for the $500 build, just to give you an idea if you had a little more to spend. So you can go with something like I had mentioned, the 5700G at $176. That's an option. You can go with a graphics card, which would be my suggestion. The Gigabyte Radeon RX 6500 XT, for example, which is a budget-oriented card at $169.99. So if you're looking at the budget, that was $407. You're going to be spending over $500, but the performance would be worth it. Corsair Vengeance LPX 32 gig kit. If you are planning to use a lot of memory, I wouldn't suggest this one particularly unless you were going all out and doing some of the other upgrades first. That's an option, $69.99, or bumping up that storage to a 2 terabyte Crucial P3 for $74.99. Anyways, that does it for the builds, the gaming PC build of the month for September 2023. If you have any questions, comments, leave a comment depending on where you're watching or listening to this, or visit the site newbcomputerbuild.com, and we'll be willing to help you out. Best of luck building your next gaming PC build.